Yes, people, welcome back to Thai Sports, where today we're talking about Mr. Crystal Palace. Is it Adam Morton? No. Is it Jean-Philippe Mateta? No. It is Senegalese international Ismaïla Sarr. What a player. What a player. And I love talking about teams outside the top six. People know that if you watch my content. And I think this is the type of player that deserves to be spoken about. Has to be spoken about because when it comes to the Premier League, I would probably say that he's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. He doesn't get spoken about enough. People, I don't think, value his impact enough. I think people, funny enough, that play fantasy football would value him because they can see what he can add with his goals, assists, and how much he's involved for Crystal Palace. But I think to casual people, they'll just watch Crystal Palace, they'll think of Wharton, they'll think of Mattel. You don't think of players like Ismaïla Sarr. You've got someone like Jeremy Pino, who's obviously growing as well as he arrived from Villarreal in the summer. But Ismaïla Sarr, you deserve this video because, brother, I've been watching him for years. I remember when Ismaïla Sarr was at Watford in the Premier League. And some of you might remember it, some of you might not. Him and Troy Deeney back then, they had something going on. Ismaïla Sarr was causing problems in the Premier League when he was at Watford. He is Premier League proven, inside out. And that is why when Crystal Palace signed him, I believe, from Marseille, I was like, this is such a clever signing. I think they just lost Zaha and another winger, maybe, potentially. And they brought in, I think Elise had gone as well, sorry. Yes, it was Elise had gone. And they brought in Ismaïla Sarr, and I thought, it's not the direct sort of replacement because Elise is a very touchline winger, you know, great technical ability, great feet, that fancy sort of side, where Ismaïla Sarr sort of more powerful, strong, can score goals, can create. But I loved it. The switch up has really worked. Crystal Palace are very good in transition. Crystal Palace are also good when they have the ball as well, to be fair. And you saw that because look at the goal they scored against Liverpool the other night in the Carabao Cup. That second goal, by the way, boom. That was something you'd see Barcelona, Manchester City, Real Madrid score. And people will be online going, wow, did you see that team goal? That was a beautifully crafted team goal from Crystal Palace to Ismaïla Sarr and hit into the bottom corner, comfortable, 2-0 up, away you go. But that was brilliant football. It was brilliant football. And Ismaïla Sarr again on the end of it. Jeremy Pino assist, I believe it was as well. But it was just lovely to watch. And Crystal Palace so far this season, I believe I might be wrong, but this season I think they've lost 3 games, 2 in the league, 1 to Larnaca in the Europa League or Conference League. But when you look at Crystal Palace over the last year, you know, it's been remarkable. FA Cup winners, Community Shield winners, great form in the league and over the season so far. I think they've lost 3 out of their last 22 games. You know, they're showing that level of consistency. They're showing that robustness. They're showing that togetherness. Every player knows its role. From from Adam Morton to Will Hughes to Jeffrey Lerma to Kamada in the middle. Then you've got Guehi, Lacroix, Richards, Mitchell there. You know, Munoz flying up and down. Pino just coming in and fitting like a glove. Sarr and Mateta. And then you've got Nketiah coming off the bench and you've got little tweaks here and there that you can make. Their squad isn't the biggest, Crystal Palace, which is why it's so incredible of what they're doing. But I love what they're doing because Glasner's got everything in tune. He's such a good coach at the moment. He's improved players. He's elevated players. He's got the club happy. The directors are happy. Everyone is happy. There's a real feel-good factor at Crystal Palace at the moment. And I think that win at Anfield, despite Liverpool's poor form, just about sums up everything about Crystal Palace at the moment. That's the 3rd time they've beaten them this season, by the way, if you want to include the Community Shield. Beating them at home in the Palace, beating them away in the Cup now, and beating them in the Community Shield. You know? That's good for their mentality. Do you know what I'm saying? And Arne Slot's got a problem with playing Crystal Palace because he can't seem to beat them. But Ismaïla Sarr, let's look at him because obviously he's 27 years of age, Senegalese international, and this year at the moment in the Premier League. So he's got 7 games, 3 goals, 1 assist. Still a decent return. He's basically got 4 contributions in 7 games. So it's over 50% that he's contributing towards something in the game. And it doesn't even have to be GA, by the way. Like, he contributes anyway because he works so hard. He's a great ball carrier. He can dribble with the ball. He can shoot. You know, he's fast. Like, he's just got everything you want in a proper African winger attacker. You know, they're hard to get the ball off. You look at Jogbers, you look at even Mateta's French, but obviously African heritage in that. You look at Sarr. You look at like Kudus, you look at these players, when they come to the Premier League, they're just strong, they're equipped. And that's why I think when a lot of teams shop in the French market, a lot of the players that come over from the French league are a success because they are ability to, be strong, to be quick, and they adapt to the Premier League really well. You look at Ismaïla Sarr last season, 38 games, played every single game, by the way. Do you know how good that is? I think Brian and Mbumo done the same for Brentford last season. 38 games, no injuries or anything. Consistency for Crystal Palace. 8 goals, 6 assists. So you got 14 goal contributions. Now, when you're looking at someone like Ismaïla Sarr, I think he's that type of player that want to be pushing into the 15 to 20 bracket. Now, look, 20 is quite a lot. I know when you're at a top club, I would say that most attacking midfielders or whatever say I want 20 goal contributions. You can get 20 goals, which is 10 goals, 10 assists. That's fine. But I think with him now, where he got 8 goals, 6 assists last season, he's on 3 goals, 1 assist already, which is 4 and 7. You got to be looking at him and be thinking he wants to be pushing for that 15 to 20 mark now. And he can definitely do that because he's going to get shots in games. He's going to get chances with his third man runs into the box, playing off Mateta. He definitely gets opportunities, Ismaïla Sarr, to create or score. And he stays fit, as we can see with the 38 games last season. So I think he wants to be pushing into that 15 to 20 mark. And then you got obviously the Carabao Cup. He played last night or, Wednesday night. You got 2 goals, and that's his first game. So, that's a strong start to the season for him so far. But I think at 27 years of age, he's in his prime now. He's molded into that full-fledged Premier League player. I think when he came to Watford, obviously he was young then. He was an exciting, raw player. Sometimes has some good games. Sometimes you're looking at him thinking, okay, there's stuff to work on. He's gone away, obviously played for Senegal quite a lot. Won big games with them. Grown into a regular star. They've got a great team there with Nicholas Jackson, Ilman Ndiaye and stuff like that. But he's just matured. He fine-tuned little things. And I feel like Ismaïla Sarr now is like coming into his prime. That sort of 27 to 30 bracket for him as an experienced right winger / right 10, what you want to call it, for Crystal Palace. But I think he's a player that they have to keep hold of, because I think when you get players like this that can always contribute and they work hard as well, they're like little gems. They are little gems. And I think him and Mateta have a great combination. I think Mateta deserves this plaudits as well. I think they bounce off each other really well. Obviously, they're missing that little bit of guile with Eze, but I think Pino is growing game after game. And obviously, you've got Adam Morton, who for me is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. But when you look at Ismaïla Sarr at 27 years of age, I just think he's a player that can do a bit of everything. And they're so priceless. Honestly, when you've got someone that can pick up the ball, drive with it, take on a man 1v1, run in behind, stretch the pitch, pass the ball between the lines if he needs to, score goals. I just think it's so nice and refreshing to have a player like that you think, right, whether it's away at Arsenal, at home to Manchester City, at home to Fulham, away to Brentford, whoever it is, you've got a player that you can count on, you can rely on, because Ismaïla Sarr is always going to give you a 7 out of 10. And I just think he deserves this video, because I think he's one of them players that just goes under the radar for how good and how impactful he can be for a team. And Crystal Palace, you've got him. Crystal Palace, you keep him. And I'm very intrigued to see what numbers he ends on by the end of the season. Goals and assists combined. He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, but he's someone that can contribute heavily in the final third. So let's see what happens. But guys, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Crystal Palace having, a great season so far. And let's rock on and see what happens this weekend. They Crystal Palace take on Brentford, which is going to be an interesting game. I expect them to get 3 points, but you never know with Brentford in transition. But I'm going to go 2-1 Palace, and hopefully Ismaïla Sarr gets a goal. I will see you soon, guys. Take care.